Okay. I don't know what happened the first time, why it was sideways or not, but I'm going to try it this way to see how it turns out this way. Plus, I have some more thoughts. Because this time I've actually tagged some people that aren't from Gary as well. Again, as you know, I'm a deployed missionary with LCMS Mission Field USA to Gary, Indiana. Many of you know I'm also a Gary native. I grew up here. I grew up in the 60s. I grew up in the transition from a city that was run to support the interests of U.S. Steel, a company that did not run its operations with an eye towards empowering or supporting the empowerment of black Americans in the city of Gary. That situation changed in 1967 with the election of Richard Hatcher. All of that is history. Everything that happened afterward is history. Both the good, the bad, the unhappy, the ugly, what have you. It is what it is. The point is, today, in 2018, we hope that we've learned from that history. We've learned from the good. We've learned from the bad. We've learned from the walls of division that got erected in a region that had no business with them. As I've said before, there are no physical walls around Gary. There is no moat. We're not an isolated city in a region that's just down the road from Chicago, Illinois. We're part of that region. And I think, I believe, and I hope that others will agree with me that Gary cannot thrive on its own. And if Gary is allowed to sink alone, that it will pull the rest of the region down. Now, there are some that might say, well, you know what? We should let it happen and maybe let it gentrify and let other groups take over and it'll be better. You know what? This land is what it is. The natural resources are what they are. The lakefront is what it is. It won't get better or cleaner or purer or more watery because someone other than blacks live here. The houses won't become prettier because someone else lives here. The streets won't become shinier because someone else lives here. But I can say this. The street lights will work when people make that a priority. The streets will be paved when someone makes that a priority. The schools will run efficiently when someone makes that a priority. The businesses will come and thrive and prosper when someone makes that a priority. The city will grow spiritually when someone makes that a priority. Yes, we have over 252 plus churches in Gary, Indiana, of a variety of groups. Not all of them are the same. Not all of them have the same structure. Very few of them have the organizational structure of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. You know, very few churches in this city can call on churches from the East Coast to the West Coast, North and South, in Canada and around the world in support of a mission effort to this city like the LCMS can. Having said that, the LCMS cannot do this alone. After all, locally here we have 2 churches. 3 if you include our Savior. There are other churches here. There are Baptist churches, there are Methodist churches, there are Episcopal churches, there are Pentecostal churches, there are non-denominational churches, all of whom have pastors, all of whom non-Christians in this city have looked at and said, you all aren't doing anything. You all aren't making a difference. You're here, you're just soaking up resources. Well, first of all, I would argue that that's not exactly true. We can't soak up resources that aren't there. Most of the churches here, in fact, all of the churches here, are made up of people who live here. And the churches have whatever resources the residents have. In terms of money, in terms of anything and everything else. That's the only resources they have. So if the people don't have much, don't expect the churches to have much. If most of the resources that come into Gary, Indiana end up in government, then that's where the money is. It's not in the local churches. But having said that, do we care about what happens in our neighborhoods? You bet we do. And so therefore, do we have a stake in the outcome? Yes, we do. Do we want things to be better? Yes, we do. But do we know what better is or what better looks like? Maybe not. People say, well, why are people complaining so much, but they don't offer solutions? Well, maybe they're complaining because they recognize things aren't good. They thought that when they voted that would make things better. But they don't see better happening. And so they're frustrated. I'm glad they're frustrated. I'd rather a frustrated citizenry than a complacent, forsaken, lackluster community. Because when you do nothing, nothing happens. When you ask for nothing, you get what you ask for. As a Lutheran, I believe, according to Romans 13, 1-7, that government has a role to play in community. It has a responsibility to its community. It has a mandate and a mission. And those who enter into government are public servants, just like those who enter into pastoral ministry are public servants. I am in the public ministry, the office of the public ministry, and I have a responsibility to this community. I have a responsibility to speak the truth as it is in Christ Jesus. Not just in terms of eternity for the saving of your soul, but in terms of time for how you are to live with your neighbor under God's purpose. And with that in mind, I know that Gary, Indiana is a city like any other city that can be successful, that can be a place where people can live and work and have recreation and have education and all these things. All of these things are possible for Gary because there are people in Gary like any other place. It happens to be that many of us are black, but that doesn't mean that Gary is any different from any other place. Now, to those of you that are outside of Gary, some of you used to live here. Some of you still have family and friends here. Some of you don't, but you know me. For some of you, your only connection to Gary is me and my family. What I'm saying now, I'm saying specifically and directly to you. I am here because the Synod called me to be here. I will remain here as long as I am supported to be here. The churches, particularly St. John that I work with, are small churches. They don't have the ability to care for myself and my family. My tasks as a missionary are not something that I do on Sundays or even Sundays and Wednesday nights. I work every day. I know that my call documents say that I get a vacation. I don't know when I'm going to see that. But I work. And it's a lot of work. And it's long hours. When I get through at the end of the day, it's easy to go to sleep because I'm exhausted. But if I don't have a network of people and churches and groups supporting my presence here, I won't be able to stay. Now, you're wondering, well, how can I support you? You're out there. I ask you to go to the website that the LCMS has, lcms.org/Campbell, and it'll give you more information. Now, I didn't do this video to drum up support. I did this video to encourage and exhort and wake up some folk that, look, we have been here, this community has been here a long time, and we've accepted a lot of things, but we've grown tired of accepting things. We want things to be better. We want things to be as good here in Gary as they are in Hammond, as they are in Hobart, as they are in any other place in Lake County. We don't want to be the red-haired stepchild of Northwest Indiana. We don't want to be the isolated cinder fella that's down in the basement. We want good things for our children. We want good things in our community. We're willing to sacrifice for those things. But we're not willing to be sheep for slaughter for other people's personal advancement. We're not willing to be stepping stones for other people's moving on up. And we're tired of others treating us like we don't matter, like what happens to us is of no account. Those days are done. Change is coming, one way or another. It will come either A, with us driving the change, or us receiving the change. It will come in such a way that empowers us, or such a way that cripples us. That part is to some extent up to us. But we need your help, brothers and sisters, wherever you are, in Gary and out of Gary. If you were Gary born and you moved on, or if you've never been here, you can play a part in the work here in Mission Field GI. And I hope you will. Keep us in your prayers, because God does answer prayers. The fervent, effectual prayers of the righteous avail much. And while you're praying and after you're praying, consider what else can you do. You want to come out here and help? Come out and help. You want to invest? Invest. You want to support? Support. There's something that you can do. And I look forward to working with you. God bless.